So starting with Clare, the player ratings, Ever Quilligan in goals, never had a save to make really. There was that late 21-yard free from Stephen Bennett, and a couple of players kind of got their bodies in the way. Not entirely sure if he got a touch, but Quilligan did his job well all day. Got his puck outs to his men for the most part. Can't think of too many mess ups, so I have to give Ever Quilligan an 8 out of 10. Rory Hayes thought he did quite well. Frustrated Shane Bennett throughout the game, got good cover in front of him, but couldn't book, give him an 8 out of 10. Conor Cleary got blocked down there one time in the second half, quite dangerously enough, just outside his own D. Did plenty good, spoiled his man at times as well, so you can't ask for much more than that. So I'll give him a 7. Paul Flanagan as well did a lot of good stuff. I would have given him an 8 out of 10. Diarmuid Ryan got on a lot of ball, some good deliveries, some not so good deliveries. Generally kept his men in check. I'd give him a solid 8 out of 10. Got a point as well. John Conlon, really, really good in the first half. Just won a lot of dirty ruck ball. Was always willing to throw his body in there. Second half, not quite as good, but still always an option for puckouts from Quilligan and looking to get onto the ball and looking to drive forward with it. So I think he's definitely an 8 out of 10. Paddy Fitzpatrick, very game lad, threw his massive body around the place. Didn't always look too comfortable on the ball, but I think did all right, 7 out of 10. And David McInerney came in and did okay for him later on as well. Colin Galvin, who's been out injured for a long time and opted out of last season because of those injuries. So it was always going to be tough for him to come back and hit the ground running. Didn't have a great league from the couple of games that I saw him in against Dublin and Kilkenny, I think it was. But returned form here. I thought he was pretty good. Got on a nice bit of ball compared with the last few games, and I give him a 7 out of 10. Tony Kelly's named as number 9. We know he didn't play there, but we'll just do him in order of how they're named on the match programme here. But Kelly has to be 9 out of 10. Absolutely decisive in what he did. Hit a few wides, but some of those from play, one of those from a sideline, another from a couple of frees. But you're not going to give out too much to the man who's currently in gold form in hurling, I think, as most people would see it. Scored 112, scored 5 of those from play, and just so much of Waterford's game plan surrounded around stopping him. So they took Calum Lyons, arguably the best deep threat that Waterford have, especially when other guys are missing, put him back in full back line where he doesn't normally play, and decommissioned him as a threat just to try and deal with Kelly. And of course he found it very difficult to do that, so Kelly 9 out of 10 for me. Colin Malone wore number 10 but played out in midfield. Thought he was really good. His man Kevin Morton was taken off in the first half. Got a point, just won some turnovers. He's continued to blossom as a player in the last few years. Brilliant player. David Reedy, I thought, was very good. Continued on his good form from the Kilkenny game when he scored a brilliant goal. Scored a couple of points here. Knit and play together, really, really good. Ryan Taylor, wasn't sure that he'd be out in the half-hour line, but did quite well there. Scored a couple of points in the first half. Ran his heart out, very good. Ian Galvin missed a couple of chances that you'd probably expect him to get, but still did okay and got himself a point. Aaron Shanahan, in terms of winning, so by the way, just to go back to those last few, give Colin Malone an 8, David Reedy an 8, Ryan Taylor a 7, Ian Galvin probably a 7. Aaron Shanahan, in terms of getting out in front and winning ball, probably give him an 8 or 9, but if you're to talk about his shooting, you'd probably give him a 4 or 5. So I think we'll average out somewhere around a 7 there. And then Aidan Mccarthy played wing forward on Ozzie Gleeson, and two attack-minded players, both who've played in the backs and the forwards. Mccarthy, I've seen him pop over more from play. I normally expect him to pop over 4 or 5 with the amount of ball he got. Still got 2, did pretty well, but would expect just a little bit more from him in terms of delivery, and he'll probably need to produce it against Tipperary in the Munster semi-final. A couple of other players to quickly touch on. By the way, give a 7 to McCarthy. Just running through the bench. David McInerney came in a couple of times. Did okay. Donald McMahon didn't really get into it that much. David Fitzgerald, not massively involved to play either. And Shane Golden, probably not on long enough to be rated here. So that's the Clare ratings. And let me know if you agree, disagree, or otherwise.